Okay, this lesson deals with the assertion that forgiveness precedes regeneration. And as I've taught and encouraged you all in iamkoine.org, the Apologetic and Outreach Ministry of Landmark Missionary Baptist Church in Jacksonville, Arkansas, that if you're studying and you're looking for motivation, controversial topics are that will incentivize you or motivate you. Proof text that you might have once used and practiced and engaged in that practice might help you go back, return to that text and find out what it actually meant in its particular context according to its meanings in light of lexical syntactical analysis. But this topic, it just seems to be out there. So one thing about Calvin versus Calvinism and Arminianism, whatever that is, those fallible constructs, it functions as catalysis. So if that's what keeps you going initially as you process through these controversies and proof texts, maybe some of your own, because once you learn how to use the Bible, rightly handle it, divide the word of truth, then you won't be proof texting anymore. So you'll notice that. So this topic just seems to come around and around. So we'll make some observations in it. I'll show you how to, let's just write this up here. So we've got the text. We've got Colossians 2:13, and we'll look at this text. But something for those of you who are studying the languages, let's look at things that we notice look alike. So we have this word. We've got this preposition here. It's with this. It's in this word. So we've got that, and we have forms of this. These are the same. This is accusative. So these are pronouns here, second person plural, whether they're accusative, dative, or genitive. Definite articles, we can see those. When you start, a lot of times people just, they get overwhelmed. You can just see too much. It's like snow blindness. But if you stop and you say, okay, I can recognize the definite articles. I can see things like I see Zoe, life in here. I see poie from poieo. You start noticing these things. You can see that's all. You get very accustomed to that one. Together with Zoe, poieo. You see charis, you see grace here. You see that aorist, that ending, salmon, for example. You notice that is nominative, masculine, singular there. That you notice this is grace from charis, so you can see that. You notice this is from, well, you might notice it. It's from charizomai. So before we even start, and then of course there's your old standby. There's the conjunction kai. That's not really, and here you can see this preposition para, as in parallel, park. Pipto, you can see the verb in here, pipto. I'll write that here, pipto. Fall, to fall alongside. And this is that fascinating word. And in, I'll just go ahead and translate this section. In the circumcision, or uncircumcision. There we go. There. The uncircumcision. Okay? So, preposition in, that's a given there. In, see it, in, it's just like our English word, in. So that's, and here being ones, that's a present active participle, while being, ing, notice the ing, while being, and of course necro, you notice that. That's accusative form. Those of you that are using the Koine language, just trying to show you some things. We see corpses, we know about necro, we use that transliteral term in our languages. So corpses, there we go. So we'll just translate kai here as emphatic, for example. Let me get a marker here. Let's just say indeed, while, and then here this is you all were being, and that's accusative though. being corpses in there's the, and this is the fallings alongside, so just translate alongside. This is real wordy, and it's plural, so the fallings, so the falls is fine. And conjoined with that, not only were we dead in the falls alongside, which were numerous falls, we were also in the uncircumcision of the flesh of us, or of you all, excuse me. So this would be in the uncircumcision of your particular flesh, and then here again it's you all. Now by the time we get all the little parts done, we can go and do the big part. So here's together with, sorry I'm taking too long now, together with him and for you all. Notice how many times you all appears. You all, different case forms, all. And then let me just make a question mark here and a note, because I want to make sure I make an observation there. And then here's the plural again. And then here's the same word, para ptomacine, from pipto, and here it is in an accusative plural. So the falls plural alongside. And that's how it words out. You can translate it trespasses, but this is a language class. So now what we've done is we've got all the little parts done. These were long words, but it's still just a noun. Same thing here. So it repeated. We have definite articles, whatever, personal pronouns repeated. You all, you all, you all, you all. We had a present active participle form of Amy, being. So those of you that use this stuff, you're probably getting real good at it. So let's take the two things now that we want to focus on, and I'll call your attention to these two things here. This is aorist, indicative, active, third person singular. You can look that up. Go to blueletterbible.org and notice it is made alive. Here's together with. Now remember, prepositions are once adverbs, so you could say made alive collectively, made you all alive collectively, together with him. And then this is an aorist. Let me see if I can write that where you can see it. So this is one of the keys here. So this is an aorist deponent participle. Okay, so after it shows antecedent action to the final verb after. So this happened after he forgave. Yeah, after he forgave for you all the falls alongside. Now here's the interesting, this word all, you'll hear some people say all means all, but now they don't say that so quickly here because they don't like the idea that over 2,000 years ago, now we have it on record and it remains on record, that all, so. And then there's, on the other hand, there's a group that says all never means all in any sense apart from any particular context. So it looks like both camps are unhappy with this word because it really frightens the religious world if there's an idea that all the falls alongside have been forgiven. But the question here was, it seemed to be the motivator that brought this text up, brought the question back up, about what about regeneration, faith? Well, here's forgiveness precedes regeneration, because before we were made alive collectively together with, he made you all alive together with him, talking about Christ here, and repeat, notice that together with is repeated, so it's twice, it's very emphatic, showing together with him, here him, with him. Then you notice this word here is also the verb for grace, transitive. So the favor, the grace of God, the forgiveness of, for you all, and here it means all in relationship to the totality of the numeric amount, indicative here of falls alongside. So whatever we are whatever we incur, and we could quantify it, noticing that with all of our heart, soul, mind, body, and strength, 5 different, let's say, aspects of our expression of our flesh, then we have 613 law codes. And if we're guilty in one point, or we fail in one point, we're guilty of all 613. So we can't even find too many people, and often we could even forget that there's 360 negative laws for each day of the year, 253 for each relating to the physiology and anatomy of man. Thus, you see in the Bible where the punishment fits the anatomical part, if you will, that committed the crime, like cut off a hand, pluck out your eye, sever your foot, things like that. So this is all inclusive, very much so. And so it's troubling because you might read arguments in Calvinists saying all never means all, and until they need it in, let's say, Ephesians 1, about God working all things according to the counsel of his will, his good pleasure. Then they want it to be all. And then, let's say, an Arminian says all means all until they get to a text like this, and then they pull back. So whatever that is, that disadvantage of being tethered to a fallible construct, it starts becoming, it brings in liabilities when you come to a glorious passage like this. And of course, you go back to, let's say, Ephesians 1:7, Romans 3, go to the Gospel of John, where Jesus said, unless you trust him for everlasting life, he was speaking to people that would die in their sins. So that you trust Jesus for everlasting life, go read the Gospel of John. You trust Jesus for everlasting life. In Christ, the sins are forgiven. There is no release or forgiveness of sins outside of Christ. He's the great qualifier. So this is the text. It's a good lesson. And let me see, 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes. I wrote this up about spatial calendar because I have a strong connection with that. And it's, I don't have NASA because I'm into the science part, although I admire critical thinking and things like that. I have a connection, which is not the content of this video. It's just 35 years ago today, not only knew where I was, knew what was going on, knew where I was standing, even knew we're in juxtaposition to the television that had this actually taking place in real time, live, as we once said when I watched it. But that's another story, it's another case. I'd been given a virtually terminal diagnosis at that time, and that also transpired. So that's it. Here's your lesson. Here's the text. Go take the little parts first, then take the 2 keys here. Notice this finite verb is preceded by this action, and that's all according to the grammar and rules and things like that. So have a blessed day, and know that forgiveness precedes regeneration and faith in Christ and inside Christ. When you believe into Jesus, that's where all these benefits thereunto appertain. So have a blessed day.